everybody, how long has it been since I've done one of these? Too long. Too long. So the last book video that I posted to this channel was 4 months ago, and it was a review of the Dharma Bum. It was a review and it was a long time ago. I didn't read as much as I hoped or expected I would read this summer. I've been away a couple of times, but I don't want to make excuses. Basically, I was just really pants at reading this summer. That's only really changed this past month. I've got my love for reading back. I had lost my love for reading. I'd lost my love for a lot of things actually, but that's a whole separate video. But I'm feeling much more back to my old self, and I have been really enjoying reading. So as this was the first month that I managed to read a decent amount, I thought that I would go through the books that I read in the month of August, and I really hope that you enjoy. So I read a total of 6 books in the month of August, and these are them. I'm very proud of 6. I feel that's quite a good number. So yeah, I'll just reel off what I bought, starting with the first book that I read this month, which was, I think I actually technically read this at the end of July, because I think I included it in my July favourites. I can't really remember, but that is The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo by Stieg Larsson. So this is the first book in the Millennium trilogy, and this is a Swedish crime thriller. It's very good, it's very good. I just thought that this was so intelligent and really quite complicated, and there's so many different kind of subplots, but they don't tail off, they actually kind of conclude in the end, and I just really liked it. It reminds me a lot of the Netflix series The Killing. I don't know if that's just an association that I've made in my own head, but I feel like the two are quite similar. Also, the main female character in this book is absolutely amazing. So that was the first book that I read at the end of July and the beginning of August. The second book that I read in the month of August was Prozac Diary by Lauren Slater. This was a really interesting one for me. I really like the angle that this takes. So this is Lauren Slater's memoir, and it deals with depression, but more specifically the idea of how we medicate depression. She deals with the idea that once you start to take medication for something that has become so entrenched as part of your identity, then how does that make us feel, and how does that kind of affect us on a deeper level than just how we feel whether or not we're depressed. And the things that we suffer and the things that we go through become very much a part of us, and medicating those things takes them away. This book is very relatable and I think very important, because it really does shine light on how debilitating mental illness can be. It's just kind of like a very important look at what it means that very minor chemical adjustments can seemingly change who we are, and then in turn that questions who are we, and like what is really our kind of like core personality. I thought that this was very good. I thought it was very moving and very honest and very eye-opening. So yeah, next book that I read this month was The Kite Runner by Kala Cassini. I absolutely love this book. This is so beautifully written and such a nice story. The story basically deals with redemption. It's about 2 young boys living in Afghanistan in the 70s, and I won't give away too much of the story. This is just so amazing and heartbreaking, and it's definitely one that I'll remember for a really long time. Okay, so my lighting has changed. Wait a second. So earlier this year I read a book called Atomized by Michelle Hubeck, and it was really dark and depressing and cynical, but somehow it really worked and I really enjoyed it. This is the second book that I have read by Michelle Hubeck, and I did not enjoy this one as much. I kind of loved it and I hated it at the same time. It's really similar to Atomized in style and tone and subject matter. It's very world-weary, very cynical, and very satirical, but I don't know, it's very intelligent and it's quite witty in a kind of dark way, and it's interesting. I can kind of see maybe where Hubeck was going with it, but I couldn't get along with it. Firstly, I think that the approach to sex tourism in this book is problematic, and the approach to women in this book is also quite problematic, and I think it goes beyond what could be kind of deemed social commentary or social satire. I think that it's just not nice, and secondly I think the book is kind of like quite overtly racist, and not really for any real decipherable intended effect. It just is, and I don't know, I find those two things quite big hurdles to get past in a book. So yeah, I didn't enjoy this as much as I enjoyed Atomised, which is a shame because I really did enjoy Atomised, but yeah, it was okay. The next book that I read this month was Cat's Cradle by Kurt Vonnegut. Again, I just don't get the hype with this one. I really don't want to be the one person that doesn't understand this book, but I think that maybe I am. I just don't get the hype. I just don't think that it's the kind of amazing modern classic that it's raved about. Maybe I'm just missing the point and it's really amazing and I just missed it, but I feel kind of like I'm just like here with it and everyone else is like here with it, and maybe I'm just not on its level. But I didn't really like the characters. The writing was good, but I just kind of didn't really ever get where it was going. A lot of the plot went way over my head. I missed a lot of the kind of metaphorical aspect to it, and it's a real shame because I really did want to like this book and I didn't. The next and last book that I read in August was A Year of Marvellous Ways by Sarah Winman. I really liked this. This book follows the stories of two people, Marvellous Ways and what's his name? Francis Drake. She's an elderly woman and he is a soldier on his way back from the war and still kind of dealing with the horrors of war. And this book really just goes for those themes of kind of like redemption and guilt and grief and what else? Loss. It does it in such an honest, intelligent, delicate way. Another thing I loved about this book is that it's written almost like a poem. I think the writing is extremely lyrical, but I don't think it's lyrical such that, oh, my battery's going. I don't think it's lyrical such that the story is lost. I just think it's written really, really beautifully, and I think the settings is set in Cornwall and the kind of like descriptions of the Cornish scenery are just outstanding. They are really, really, really lovely. It's a really unique book, I think, and the hints of magical realism are very, very strong, which is not something I've ever really read before, but did very much enjoy in this book. Yeah, I really, really enjoyed this. I'll definitely be checking out Sarah Winman's other work. I think it's called When God Was a Rabbit, if my memory serves me correctly. I think Marvellous, who is the elderly protagonist, is just one of the most amazing characters that I've read in a long time. I absolutely love her. She just doesn't care what anybody thinks, and I think she's kind of like, she's just brilliant, almost like an idol to me. Yeah, I really, really liked this book. And the ending as well just blew me away. So yes, definitely very rave reviews about A Year of Marvellous Ways. And that is everything that I got around to reading in the month of August. Hopefully the month of September will be equally good a reading month for me because it's something I really want to get back into. I'm right in the middle of the book feed at the moment, which I'm loving. It took me the longest time to get around to it. It seems like everybody apart from me has read the book feed by now, but yes, I really hope that you enjoyed this video, and I'm hopefully back with the book videos now, and also hopefully going to be making some more food kind of videos. I'm filming what I eat in a day today, so that will be up on my channel at some point. And that's all, I think, from me. I hope that you're having a brilliant Sunday, and I'll see you in my next video.